In this video, I'm going to show you how to balance question 7b on page 238. So just remember, the point of balancing is just to make sure that we have the same number of atoms on both sides of the arrow, and that is so our chemical equation obeys the law of conservation of mass. And so there was a few tips that we went over in class to make balancing easier. A couple of them will show up here. So first of all, let's start with calcium. We've got one calcium on the reactant side, and we've got one calcium there, one calcium on the product side as well. So calcium is balanced. And now we move to the water. Now, one of the tips that we talked about in class was if you have an OH group on one side of the arrow, like that, it is sometimes helpful to rewrite water as HOH. It's still water, we're just writing it differently, so that we can follow one of the other tips, which was if you have the same polyatomic ion on both sides of the arrow, treat it like it's a single atom. So what I mean is, if here we have OH, hydroxide, let's just treat it like it's a single atom. And so don't think of it like one oxygen and one hydrogen. Just think of it like one hydroxide. And so if we do that, we see we have one hydroxide on the left side, and we have two hydroxides on the right side. So I need to put a 2 in front. So make two waters. If I make two waters, then that means there's two hydroxides. And so the hydroxides are balanced. And the final tip is to leave hydrogen until the end. Hydrogen usually ends up balancing itself if you leave it. So let's just check. We have two hydrogens here that we haven't accounted for yet. All right, we've got two waters, and there's one hydrogen per water. So there's two hydrogens there, and there's two hydrogen there. So the hydrogen's balanced. What we can do finally is just put a 1 in all of these blanks. You don't have to put a 1 there, you can leave it blank, but when we're learning, I'd like you to put a 1 there just to indicate that you know it's 1, and you're not just leaving it blank because you don't know how to do the question. All right, let's just do a final check. We've got one calcium on both sides, we've got two hydrogens on both sides, and we've got two hydroxides on both sides. So we're balanced.